Everybody's seen the horses diving down the shore. It's a miracle.
Counting Crows has released its new album Somewhere Under Wonderland, which hit retailers September 2nd, and it's the group's first release of original material since 2008. The outfit that established itself in the 1990s with Mr. Jones and Round Here aims to not really take over the pop and rock landscape again, but to keep creating quality and authentic music. As frontman Adam Duritz explained, there was a situation in the studio where a band member was not fully invested and present while laying down tracks for the new tunes, despite playing his parts perfectly.
Jim comes from a real professional musician's background. His dad's 30 years trumpet in the SF Symphony. You know, he's really good at getting things right away. And he was playing perfectly well. He really was. Everything was perfect. It wasn't great. It wasn't furious. It just wasn't inspired. Our producer, Brian Deck, came up to me at some point and said, maybe we just ought to let him go. The poor guy's about to have a baby. You should let him go and we'll like do something else for a few days, you know, and just, it would have been great, but it's not a necessity. There's, you know, it's not it's not going to break us. We'll be fine, you know. That's okay. You tell him, though. I don't want to deal with that. I'd already been, you know, up his ass for days about that's not good enough, you know. So Brian took him aside and told him. Jim comes back in the room. He's like, steam coming out of his ears. He's so pissed off. And he's just like cursing. He's like, screw this. Everybody in the back of the room now. God damn it. He's like screaming, everybody get back in the room. You know, he's pissed at himself mostly, but he's pissed at everybody at that moment. And then he just crushed it.
Duritz was also asked his opinion on success in a declining music industry, one that barely resembles the golden age for rock-based artists 20 years ago.
Here's the deal. There's lots of music being made all the time. Some of it gets on the charts, and some of it doesn't. But it doesn't really change the fact that, like, a few years before our records came out, there was no one out there who would have told you that the center of culture the next few years was going to be Nirvana and Counting Crows. That's what everybody was going to listen to, because they were a fringe indie band putting out records on Sub Pop, and we were a college radio band in San Francisco not putting out records at all. You know, I mean, and then a few years later it's different, but that's just the culture decided to listen to those records. But they were there, you know, and you just cannot be the center of your culture your whole career. Some people will never be at the center of the culture, and they'll still have made great work, and maybe years later people will come back and realize Alex Chilton or Big Star or the Velvet Underground, you know, which may have happened more because Lou Reed had success later with some pop singles, but really it's just that nothing's been lost.
Adam is not ashamed to admit and share that he suffers from a rare dissociative personality disorder that makes his own life seem like it's taking place in the third person.
You know, I don't know that you ever get cured from this sort of thing, and that was really upsetting me a long time ago, but I have noticed that I survived, and when I felt like there was a time when I wasn't sliding down a hole anymore, then I thought it was okay to talk about it, because it's the truth. It's something behind a lot of the songs that people might not have understood. And then you say it and they do, and I don't think it's something to be ashamed of. I just didn't want to be a spectacle, and the fact is, you know, it's a very real... A lot of human beings don't have a lot of humanity in them, or they are willing to turn it off if it suits the job. And I didn't really want to be a victim of that, you know, and now I think it's okay. I feel a little better. I mean, I'm feeling better about myself. I'm more in control. I noticed it didn't kill me, and I don't need to go back to the hospital, but it was a long time ago.
Counting Crows is indeed solidly back on its feet, and dates are booked for the UK while US routing is still being worked out. Adam Duritz will be at the CMJ Music Festival in New York curating his showcase of new bands titled The Outlaw Roadshow. Details and more from Adam is forthcoming.
Of the action stacks, where the white queens creep in the town.